Good morning, good morning, good afternoon. I think you can see me okay, hear me all right. Put it into the chat, let me know. If you're on the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're on and ready to go. Today is part two of Bitcoin, a slight deeper dive into Bitcoin after it came off its high of about 124, 125 ish. 126 actually. Um, and over the last couple of days, been sitting at about the 108 or what 108,000 level. So it was a 125, 126,000 level. It's been sitting along the 108,000 level. Um, hey, Hungry Foodie, how are you doing? So with that, what was I going to say? Remember to click the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. At 3:30 p.m. in 30 minutes, this will switch over to a members only live stream where we talk about daily analysis. We go through the major currency pairs and all that kind of stuff. Um, so for the first 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Just looking at the charts there. All right. Anyone else on? If you're on the session, drop a message and say hi. Let me see. What am I doing? Okay. All good, all good. See, I have my notes. Okay, the funny thing is when you have your notes and then everything changes after pretty much after I wrote my notes. Right? We were just here yesterday. Right? Yesterday we were talking about the why. Why did um Bitcoin push all the way to the upside? We talked about the uncertainty um, of the conflict in the different countries, which seems like it's resolving slightly now because I think a lot of European governments have come around and said, hey, let's end the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. That's what's causing gold to drop as well. So we saw a little bit of that on Bitcoin. The confusion or the government shutdown in the U.S., the U.S. federal rate policy, interest rate decisions as well to come. So all that has led Bitcoin and gold to push to the upside. Last week we talked about gold pushing to the upside. Did you see where it is right now? Right, so gold pushing Bitcoin, pushing digital gold, Bitcoin to the upside. And since the 7th of October, it's been tested at the 126,000 level. Didn't like that resistance level, formed a bit of a double top there, formed a double top there at a resistance of 124, 125,000 and pushed back down. All right, it's pushed down. It's found that support here at 108,000, tried to break lower, came back up, and is sitting along this point right now. Right? Yesterday pushed up, came back down. Right now, still at the 108 level. I'm 100% sorry. I forgot that you guys cannot see my chart. All right, now you see the chart. Double top, like I was saying, so it's pushed up. We don't need this for now. We don't need this for now. Okay, it's pushed right to the top. It's formed a double top along this 125,000 level. Didn't like that resistance level, came right back down and broke below this previous swing low here at 108,000. Bounced around here, tried to push higher yesterday, but now it's back at that same point. Right, so that was all the whys that we covered yesterday. Let's talk about today the what next. Where could it go to next from here? Oh, and hi Rajat, how are you doing? Hope you're well. And I'll put it to you guys. Put it into the chat. Let me know. What do you think? This point now, it is quite a, I mean, we had a circle here. Um, at this point here, it is quite a decision level where it could have a break push to the downside that way, right? Or you could see it do the opposite and bounce right back up and form a new high. What is your thought? Before I share in Bitcoin, about Bitcoin, um, let me know. Let me know. Put it into the chat. Let me know what you think. I'll take away some of the scribbles first. Okay. And while you're doing that, remember to click on that like and subscribe as well. Okay. Anyone with a guess? Best guess scenario? You're just waiting for me to tell you what I think. You don't need this for now. Okay. If you look at it, first I want to show it to you on a weekly time frame. Right? On the weekly time frame, take away a couple of these lines again. What you see here is that it's kind of had a um, similar pattern, a slightly similar pattern, right? It would push up, then it would have a bit of a channel that way, it would push up, and again have a bit of a not perfect channel, but channel that way. And this time now it's pushed up, but it's not on a descending channel this way, it's in a slightly horizontal channel this way. Okay, so since 2023, we've seen that, and even to a, and this is on a weekly time frame, by the way, right? Even to a slightly smaller extent, you see that as well. Push up, channel that way. I know it looks terrible, like that, and then that, and then this one didn't really. I wouldn't say that one fits, right? So we're seeing a repeat, a massive repeat of that pattern happening over and over again. Right now, it's sitting right across rather than descending down. Would it fit if it did have a push to the downside that way? It could still work that way before breaking out, right? I'll still say that as a bit of a failure there. Okay. One more thing to note is that the most recent one was that it formed a bit of a high here. Okay, came down, it pushed up, formed a bit of a high, had a false push back down before it came back up again. Not dissimilar. I feel like it's not that dissimilar to how it's pushed up, had a bit of a false break, looks like it's pushing back down again, and maybe pushing back up. So we'll cover the different scenarios on continuation of the trend. We'll cover the scenarios of a complete reversal, and we look at which is more likely. Again, on the weekly time frame, if you took right down the bottom to the top here, bid levels are there, right? So you have support level down here at 100,600. A bit more to drop on that scenario, down to 23.6. Doesn't look great at 38.2. Looks okay at 50. Not fantastic, but I think it looks great. Okay, I don't think, as much as I do think, but as much as like drawing lines down to this 50, 60,000 level. Not thinking that um, Bitcoin's going to get to 60,000. I would love it. It'd be a great opportunity to buy more and just hold on to it. Um, but I think a lot has to go wrong before it gets to that point. Sounds fair? Hey Jimmy, how you doing? I think that points there. Right, so a lot has to go wrong before we're gonna see this kind of drop. If you consider this is on a weekend or a weekly time frame, consider this magnitude of a drop. It's kind of like what happened here, right? Back in 2021 all the way to 22, where it's dropped right back down that way. So I think, is it possible? Never say never. Um, is it likely? I think a little bit less so. Okay, so we'll take that one away. On a weekly time frame, I would say that the big decision level is here at $100,600. Then you look at the daily time frame, and it doesn't look that far away. It doesn't look that far away, right? So we've got that big fib level to the upside. We have this point here, right? And we can look for some levels of confluence here. We've got 50, we've got 38.2, so that's good. And that's what I'm looking for. So right now, why is it sitting at this 108,000 level? Is because from this move up, it's found 38.2. There is a confluence here at the $100,600 for Bitcoin. And then if you consider, I just want to find confluence levels first. Just bear with me on that. Okay. All right. So we've got this whole area. Look, from this bottom all the way to the top, this support level here at 23.6. Right? From here up, we have 38.2. If I'm not wrong. Double check. Yes. And then from here up, we have 50. So I would say that with all those levels, this becomes a very strong support level if Bitcoin does continue to drop to the downside. It is pausing here right now because from the shorter and medium term level, it's found this level. Actually, 23.6 is well broken. So it's found this level that it needs to break first. The thought here is, oh, hey Jimmy, how you doing? Hope you're well. Thanks for joining. How's the move? Um, the thought here is that maybe we could see this drop and push back up. That's what I'm thinking, right? Also, because I've just seen, because we've just seen, gold push right down, test that 4,000 level, didn't like it, and it's pushing right back up as well. Well, not right back up, but it's trying to push back up. We talked about gold last week, so I'm not going to hop on it further for now. So back onto Bitcoin, I think that it could come down. So gold dropped right down to the 4,000 level, found a key round number levels, key strong support round number level, tested and bounced back up. We could see the same thing here on Bitcoin where it tests 100, right? It's not that far away. Test 100 as a round number and then bounce off from here. Then one more thing I was going to show you. What was the one more thing I was going to show you? I can't remember where I drew it now. If you did that, right? Assuming that we are thinking that it's going to come down from here to push up to here and then test. We've got the fib projection levels here. We could be looking at it heading up towards that 150 level. Do you remember when we talked about this yesterday? Let me just scroll, get back to my notes. Where was it? I was saying something about the market share of, where is it? There. We're talking about how Bitcoin is digital gold, and gold's market cap is 30 trillion. Bitcoin is at 2 trillion. So if Bitcoin gets to 10% of gold's market cap, which is 3 trillion, Bitcoin would be at about 150,000. And if it gets to 20% of gold's market cap, that's 6 trillion, then Bitcoin will be at 300,000. We'll talk about 300,000 some other day. But there we have. We have got a major level here at 152,000 with Bitcoin at 10% of gold's market cap. Right? Obviously, before that, we have to consider this previous high, this all-time high, previous high, as a resistance level as well. So looking at this, that's what I'm thinking, right? The trend following thought, and I'll put this in as well. You can see that the RSI could head down, right? It could head down, which means which could lead to this, or which could be when price pushes down towards this 100 level, right? So if price pushes down, selling pressure, this pushes down towards this oversold position. And if you look at it, the last time we got out of an oversold position, right? It set across here, right? It set across and then it pushed right through. Once it broke out of that midpoint, that's how I use RSI. Right? Once it broke out of that midpoint, you started seeing it pushing strongly, massive move to the upside. That's what we're looking for. Right? Yeah, it might push down, it might test this oversold region, but we're looking for a possible bounce here at 100 to push back up, possibly to that 150,000 level. And then also you see the TSRI MACD, my MACD that I coded, is also or has also crossed over to push to the upside. I'll show you the weekly as well. Right, weekly shows like it might push down slightly. That's why we see this pushing down, but the volume is holding. So it might push down slightly, sit across, and then test back up. The reason why I think it might push down a little bit more is also because of that rejection. We see it on the weekly time frame. We see that rejection here on the daily time frame as well. Okay. Does that kind of make sense? All good? All good? Put it in the chat, let me know, thumbs up. Thumbs down if it's terrible. Thumbs down. Let me know as well. Then one more thing. So that's the trend following scenario. What we're looking at. Trend following scenario. We're looking at it continuing to push. Oh wait. Trend following scenario. We're thinking that, well, I'm thinking that it could firstly trade down to 100,000 round number key support level. Then we'll look for bounce from this level. Target level. Target would be previous swing high at 125,500. Ooh. And 152, 123, which is the fib projection level, and also approximately 10% of gold market cap, which we talked about in part 1. Okay? Yeah, I thought it was not going to appear. Okay, there we go. So that's the trend following scenario with targets and expectations and reasons and expectations. That's what I'm looking for. Cool? Thumbs up, chat, say yep. Okay, then what if? What if we look at we look at Bitcoin, we look at gold, which is not the best example right now. What if gold sits across, right? You see it's still downward pressures on gold has been overbought all through this point. That's why we saw a big push to the downside. What if gold sits across, maybe tests a little bit higher, and then pushes right back down? Ugh, not backwards. Charts can't go backwards. What if it sits across and then pushes right back down that way? Right? We would still have our channel, and that would still make sense. That's that point, previous high. So 3,500 would be right there. Right? What if it sits across? It goes from 4,200. It's 4,158 right now. What if it goes from 4,200 right down to 3,500? Then you flip it in the other flip side. You look at Bitcoin, where you'd say, okay, what if it comes down to this 100,000 level, fails to bounce, and breaks down? Right? I wouldn't be too quick to sell it there. Right? And also because I like buying into um I like buying and following the trend rather than doing counter trend trades. So that's another reason why I wouldn't sell it down. But um let me just think. But okay, no, that doesn't work. I like that point. $23.50. Is there 38 is there? Okay, I don't need 38. Doesn't do anything for me. I'm happy with 50 and 61.8. Okay, so then you'll be looking. If it comes down, if it pushes down right there at 100, many of you would be tempted to sell it down. You'll be scalping it down. You can do short-term trades, but the reason why we're looking at this is on the daily time frame. You could be looking, you sit there, you'll be like seeing it push down. You'll be doing small trades to the downside. You look at 90,000 here, and then you got next level down, and then the previous swing level down here. Okay, that one, and that one down here. So on a counter trend, right? On a counter trend scenario, right? On a counter trend scenario, break below 100, break 100k round number key support level, and then I would only trade it down to 90k. I'll be very cautious of a rebound, right? So yeah, I think it could, if it does break, it could come back down to that point. It will be precious to push it down. I don't see as much. Remember I was saying at the starting point. As much as I would love to see that push, um, all the way down to 60,000, and I'll be happy to buy it up. I buy a lot more at 60. I don't see that happening yet. I don't see a reason for that to happen for such a drastic drop. Can it happen? Yeah, possible. I don't see a big reason for it at this point. So if it does drop down, then you'll be looking at this 90,000 level. So in terms of which is easier, I want to see it bounce off 100 and push back. I think at 100 is risky, but it's still good value to the upside rather than trying to catch that small, um, it's not small, but it's that downward push. Okay, does that make sense? I hope this makes sense to you for Bitcoin analysis. That concludes our 2 day look into Bitcoin. I'll think about what to do for the next 2 days, what are the topics to look at in the next 2 days. I started the timer already. I don't know what's the timer at right now.